again, just raise your hands if you guys have a question and we'll get started. Nick Zaccardi, looks like you're ready.
Yes. Thank you guys for taking the time to talk with us today. My question is about COVID protocols. Have you guys been told about what the testing procedure is going to be like and what happens if you test positive? Sorry, it's for both of you. Jacarra, would you mind?
Sorry. I didn't know this is the way this was gonna go. My bad. Okay, so I know that we're supposed to like test. We get tested before, and then we get tested when we get there. So I'm not really worried because we have like the testing going on before we get there, and then when we get there. So I'm pretty comfortable with that. And I mean, if you get COVID afterwards, you already made the Olympic team, right? You got a week to heal up. So yeah.
So I was actually already affected by COVID-19, and I took my time to heal up. It took me actually a month to heal up. So what I'm under the understanding of is that if you have had COVID-19 through February 5th through I believe March 25th, and it's your duty to get a doctor's waiver that can clear you for the Olympic trials. And as long as you have that, before entering, you'll be okay to get your credentials on the first and compete. So that's what I'm under the influence of. But there is also a PCR test for those who have not tested positive for COVID-19 72 hours before the tournament and whatnot. So yeah, as Jacarra was saying.
Thank you, guys.
All right. And Helen has joined us now. Helen, we've just had one question, so you didn't miss much. Lara, you're up next. Go for it.
Hey everyone, my first question is for Jacarra, and you've been very vocal recently about winning and ending your matches as soon as possible in the first period, and we've seen you do just that. In the cards that you've been on in France and even at the Captain's Cup, you've definitely implemented this strategy. Going into the Olympic team trials finals, will this continue to be part of your strategy?
Yeah, for sure. It's just, I don't feel like some matches I try new stuff and it lasts a little bit longer, but I plan on going and trials with the stuff that I, like my go-to moves and the stuff that I do well. And just, I think working for a turn after every takedown makes that a lot easier.
All right, do we have any other questions to start us off? All right, Vader, go for it.
Okay, I'm muted. Okay, my question is for Helen. It's kind of probably been a roller coaster, right? 15, 16, 17 were lights out. You haven't kind of returned to where you've been, but how do you feel, I don't know, mentally and emotionally coming into this trials compared to, let's say, 16, 17?
Yeah, what's up, Mark? So.
Hey.
I feel, honestly, I feel amazing coming into these trials, especially compared to 2016. In 2016, my last memory of being at the Iowa, Hawkeye Arena was for the 2012 trials and losing there and it being really heartbreaking. So I think I had this, this fear that, what if I could never put it together and make an Olympic team? And obviously that fear got squashed. And just the amount of experience and the trials that I've been through and the things that I've overcame, I just fought in like tooth and nail to get back to this point. So I trust the process. I love where I'm at. I've loved the training, the preparation. So I'm ready to go.
Physically and mentally, but I'm talking about the physical side of the mental. How do you feel?
Sorry, landscape, is that this way? You said, how do I physically feel?
Well, yeah, and how does your head physically feel? Because obviously, is it sideways for everybody else?
Am I sideways?
Hey, Helen, could you,
This way?
Is your phone locked on?
It's probably locked.
Oh, yeah, that's what it is. Good call.
Don't worry.
Thank you.
Gotcha.
All right, here we go.
Thanks, Jacarra. Thanks, Willis.
Yeah, no, physically, I've never felt better. My head's like good, 100%. It's been that way for a while, which I felt intuitively that this was going to happen. And with all the doctors and the people that I worked with, I think it's kind of weird to have spoken about that as I was going through it, but I really had faith in the process that it was going to get to this point. So this is probably the best I've ever felt, and I think I'm wrestling better than ever. So I'm really excited about that.
Thank you.
Lara Leigh, did you have another one?
Yes, I did. And this question is for Helen Maroulis. With your 2016 Olympic gold medal, you are now the standard bearer, not just for your weight, but for all of women's wrestling in America. With that standard set, and with Team USA having achieved qualifying all 6 weights, going into the Olympic team trials and then later going to Tokyo, are there any new or different expectations going into the Olympic team trials, either for yourself or that you feel from your training partners or from other women wrestlers?
No, I wouldn't say that I personally feel any new expectations. I hold myself to a very, very high standard. And I think throughout this journey, that helped me a lot, especially when there were times where, even my family or maybe coaches or doctors didn't really know where I was at and if I could do it and things of that nature. So for me, I made a commitment to 2020. And for the last 4 years, I've just said, whatever that looks like, even if I just have to get on the mat, I'm going to find a way to get there. So, and in that process, I've gotten to heal and be better. And my standard for myself is very high. So I don't feel it from anyone else. And I don't think anybody could have a higher standard than I have for myself.
And same also to Jacarra too. Do you feel, going into this Olympic process with the Olympic team trials, are there any expectations that you see for yourself or for the Team USA going to Tokyo?
No, I just try not to think of it that way, like any pressure or anything like that. This is my first ever Olympic trials actually competing in it, but I've competed at world championships and stuff, and I don't make things bigger than they are. I mean, like Olympics, yeah, it's a big thing, but all I have to do is just wrestle like I know how, so I don't put too much pressure.
Hey, Mike Willis, go for it.
Okay, my question's for Gangelo. You've been probably the most dominant Greco-Roman wrestler domestically over the last quad, and you're someone that specifically gets overseas to train to get better competition. How do you make sure that you don't overlook anyone at this upcoming Olympic team trials? And then what does it look like for you to try to get that international competition in, so you are prepared when you're at the Senior Worlds or the Olympics to take on the best wrestlers?
Well, I'd have to say, to make sure I'm not overlooking nobody, I'm steadily trying to find the places that'll, bring that fatigue to me. I like to train overseas because those foreign opponents bring such a different style, that fatiguing style, that style that's not, not a norm. And so that's kind of why, I go there. And right now I'm currently in Idaho training with Ivan Ivanov at the Suplex Gym. So he's a foreigner from Bulgaria and whatnot. So I try to replicate that as best I can at any possible time that I can. And moving forward, definitely after the Olympic trials, God willing, what has to get done gets done. I intend on getting right back overseas and training with, my same friends and circle that I train with normally.
Yeah, and Gangelo, to piggyback off of that, can you kind of give us a little idea of what your training has looked like over the last quad? Because you have been overseas quite a bit.
Training's been really good overseas, of course, and now this last year it's changed pretty dramatically, right? So I haven't been able to travel at all. The restrictions are, high and up there, and tried to actually get overseas once, and that's actually when I had COVID. I found out I was diagnosed, and so I couldn't make that trip happen, and so I had to immediately scramble, and we're working with what we got, right? So that's the thing I'm doing best, I think, and is adapting, and that's something I think I'll have over my opponents. My opponents are normally used to training in the States and, regular, who they train with, their partners over, their day-to-day basis. And I'm finding partners every single day, different Americans to train with, and I'm, going to the training camps that I need to be going to get in the shape I need.
Les Carpenter, you're up.
Hi, this is for Helen. This is Les Carpenter at the Washington Post. I'm just kind of wondering a little bit of what you've gone through the last several years. Has that made you much stronger? Has that made you, even better prepared for this?
Yeah, Absolutely. I think everything that I went through has definitely made me, one, stronger, and two, better prepared for this. I think any kind of health scare and just being bedridden and just, not knowing if I was ever going to compete again, I think really freed me up to appreciate every little moment and to not take anything for granted. And just really seeing, just going through the fire and coming out of it, not just alive, but thriving. I feel like I'm a better person and I'm a better wrestler and, better athlete because of that. So it wasn't fun to go through at the time, but it definitely produced a lot of really good qualities that I'm very grateful for.
Does it make you more focused, more of an urgency to anything that you're doing and going to the Olympics or in the trials?
I think at the beginning, it probably gave me more urgency, especially with the delay. I didn't really start doing live again until this past December, but all my decisions, I pray about them. I seek wise counsel. So they're not just, I don't just say, oh, well, the coach said this, and so that's that. Like, I take full responsibility for my decisions as well. So, and I think being an older athlete, it is a collaborative process. And I think me just taking full responsibility for each decision, I'm just looking at everything from every possible angle. And I think that's helped me to grow and to just be confident with every decision I've made.
Thank you.
And guys, we're going to go about 6 more minutes with this crew, just FYI. But Derek, I believe you had your hand up first, so go for it.
Here, can you hear me? Okay, Derek Levendusky from American Women's Wrestling. This is for Helen and Jacarra. Could you talk about the team side of it? We've got all 6 weights qualified, heading into the Olympics. What are your expectations for Team USA in Tokyo, and what are some of the challenges that you think our team is going to face to be at the top?
Helen?
All right. I was waiting for you to go, but okay, I'll go first. So I've been 2012 as a training partner. Obviously, I went in 2016, and I did everything I wanted to do there. I think now looking at this 2020, I think you can see a huge change in our women's wrestling program. We have multiple world champs. We have multiple time world champs. I think this is one of the strongest teams that we've had going into an Olympics. And I think this is the team to do it, to win the team title. I really believe in every single individual athlete that's on our team, and the depth that we have now is amazing. So really, honestly, whoever makes the team, I think, is definitely medal contender and gold medal contender. So I think we're all looking forward to that team title.
What Helen said, I agree.
All right, Jack Hurley.
What? Oh.
Wait, Jacarra, did you want to answer more?
No, that was it. I thought you said Jacarra, but his name's Jack. Sorry.
Jack.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, this is Jack Hurley from the Fight Site. Actually, question for you, Jacarra. So after you lost to Sophia Matson a couple months ago, was there anything?
Hold up, dog! You gonna do it like that? I'm just kidding.
Hang on.
Sorry.
So is there anything specific you learned from that match that you've been working on, or is your training still just kind of general, trying to get better?
I'd be a fool if I didn't learn from that match. So yeah, just like some little stuff, just like you just got to wrestle, like there was some stuff that was going on and I kind of let that affect me, but it actually brought a lot of confidence just knowing that I can score and take down and turn anybody in the world. And I had never taken her down or turned her before. So it's just little building blocks. And I'm actually excited and happy that that happened because now I have something to work on and you can build from it.
Very cool. Vader, for it.
Yeah, I got one more. I was going to ask Jacarra a question, but I don't want to get scolded, so I'll go to Gangelo. I'm just kidding. But I do want to go to Gangelo. You answered a great question there. Gangelo, I know TC Danzler's a big part of your wrestling and your life. What roles he played in helping you prepare specifically for the trials and ideally the Olympics?
Like I've told you before, he's my mentor. That's my guy, my go-to guy. So you know, as soon as I get home, he told me it's me and you until trials, you know, like this. So as soon as I get back, he's been telling me every single day, texting me every single day, just motivational things. He's a 2008 Olympian, so he's been down this road, and he definitely keeps my mind right, just telling me things and just keeping my morale tight and right. And just, you know, when there's a point in time where that COVID had, you know, created doubts in my mind, of course, and then he just kept me through that whole thing, and now I'm more confident than ever, and I feel great to have that mentor in my corner. And, you know, he'll probably be cornering me at the Olympic trials, whether we see him, you know, whether other people see him throughout the whole year or not. He'll be in my corner for sure. You know, that's my guy. He'll probably be at the games as well. So,
Nice. All right, one more for Jacarra. Jacarra, I think you recently said you bought a new Jeep. If best case scenario, you go to the Olympics and you win that big pile of cash, what are you gonna buy?
I'm gonna buy a house. For me and my Saint Bernard dog, it's gonna be so big and we're gonna have so much room.
Awesome. Thanks all of you.